Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in lovely Lauderdale by the Sea. Another beautiful day out there. I believe it's Wednesday, February 17th, and it's 75 degrees. Look at that. I wish we'd get our cool weather back, though I kind of miss it. But not the kind of cool weather our northern friends are having, that's for sure. Well, anyway, let's open up today's report with just saying what we normally say for the last several months here when we see it happening. We just got monkey hammered with gold and silver prices. But don't forget, folks, this is just simply paper prices. This is not physical prices. It's bullshit. And I'll explain to you why here in a moment. We'll get into that in just a moment here. And first off, someone asked me what monkey hammering meant, or what was the specific of monkey hammering, and what did my meme mean? My meme mean? Say that 10 times fast. Well, anyways, monkey hammering. I went and looked. I said, well, I don't know. I kind of saw the term used a couple times to describe when markets get monkey hammered. But I went and looked, and apparently a monkey hammer is a drop press with a ram, which is raised and let drop freely. So that's not what I was looking for. And there's a picture of a monkey press, I guess, right there. I didn't know that. However, in the terms that we are using it in, the definition of a monkey hammer is when the 800-pound gorilla blatantly manipulates markets downward. And we're going to get into that in a moment here. So that's what a monkey hammering is. It's when big players, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, monkey hammers everything. Monkey hammers the market down. So there's your definition, sir. Hope that helps. And by the way, I didn't make up the monkey hammering term either. I've seen it used many times in different sites. I just thought it was very fitting for what we see going on with precious metals markets every once in a while. So on to my thumbnail that I put up here, BlackRock monkey hammers gold and silver. Well, now that we've got monkey hammering out of the way and we clearly know what monkey hammering is, let's talk about monkey hammering here. Boy, I said monkey hammering a lot here so far, huh? If you do a search for monkey hammer, my site's going to come up. BlackRock sells yesterday's gold price. It appears to be or the drop that we seen in gold yesterday, and kind of a weird, strange hit in silver, just a tiny bit, but it kind of went sideways. But let's talk about what happened yesterday. According to what the news says, BlackRock sells more than $470 million worth of gold as it focuses on silver. Very interesting. Well, $470 million worth of gold, that's a lot of gold, folks. That certainly would drive the markets down just a tad, you would think. But let's read more into this, because this is just way too simple. If there's $470 million worth of gold on the market, where the hell is it? Because I want some more eagles. You guys want Krugerrands and eagles and bars. And there's not enough product out there to supply. So I don't know where that $470 million worth of gold they sell went. It certainly didn't go to bars or coins. And as I've always been saying, it's just paper they're selling here. But here's something interesting. BlackRock. Let's read the article first. This is from Kitco News. The world's biggest asset manager, BlackRock, is getting out of gold and buying into silver, as it sold 2.7 million of its, now notice this, the company's own ETF, SPDR, which is GLD, and bought 1.18 million shares of iShares Silver Trust, SLB. These are both paper instruments. These aren't real gold and silver. And you know why we're not going to see all that gold on the market? You know, what did they do? $470 million worth of gold in the market? Because there is no gold. It's just paper, folks. It's not coming out in the market. They just sold $470 million of their own paper, and they bought another 1.18 million shares of SLB, supposed to be 1.18 million ounces of SLB, their own ETF. Remember this, folks, this is their ETF. Why are they doing this? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. But let's move into this article here. In terms of the dollar value, BlackRock sold $471 million worth of gold. Oh, and like I said, that should show up at all the gold sellers. Now, you know, we shouldn't have a gold issue anymore now, right? No, not quite. Not quite. The largest gold-backed ETF on the market, and bought $29 million worth of SLB, the largest silver ETF. Oddly enough, we didn't even see silver rocket up that high. How does it work when the company that basically manages and owns the GLD and SLB is buying and selling paper themselves? It's kind of weird. It doesn't seem like a conflict of interest to me a little bit, but again, I don't know what I'm talking about as far as that goes. As of December 31st, 2020, BlackRock owned just 4.68 million of GLD shares, worth $835 million compared to the previous holding of $7.37 million, worth $1.3 billion. BlackRock's SLV ownership is now at $1.2 million. So BlackRock just bought, and think about this again, folks. BlackRock sold their gold, which magically just disappeared in the thin air because we don't see it on the marketplace, and they bought silver, which we haven't seen on the marketplace, and we have a hard time finding silver, but they managed to find what, let me see here, what is it, $29 million worth of silver overnight? Give me an effing break. This is a paper sham, in my opinion. Simply a paper sham. But again, I digress here. Let me go back into this article. However, keep in mind that $29 million investment into silver is still relatively moderate compared to BlackRock's gold holdings. They have huge gold holdings. And what they're telling us, folks, is that BlackRock, the people that control SLV, the ETFs that I've been railing on for some time, because in my opinion they don't own metal, they're just paper. That's paper nonsense. I think they're in trouble, or I think they realize that people are realizing that their ETFs, there's nothing behind them, and I think they're shuffling into markets to keep markets down. Well, anyway, again, we'll get into that in a moment. It is also important to note that BlackRock owns, now here's a key word down here. It is also important to note that BlackRock owns iShares, which is the ETFs, SLV and GLD, and which is the world's largest ETF fund provider. So an ETF fund provider, a company that owns these ETFs and that is really just supposed to run them, not manipulate them, is buying and selling huge amounts of their own product, their own paper product. Now, something is really funky here, folks. BlackRock's latest take on precious metals was published in October, when the firm highlighted that the gold market has transformed into a hedge against falling interest rates. Well, we know that. I guess they were hoping that they wouldn't see that. And let's go down here. The shift in correlation is not unusual for gold in different economic environments. Gold can behave very differently. One explanation for the recent change is that both gold and equities are increasingly reacting to a common factor. We've been talking about this for months. What, did they just figure this out? I doubt it. They've known this for a long time. They just don't want us to know it. So anyway, equities are increasingly reacting to a common factor: Federal Reserve policy. BlackRock's Global Allocation Fund portfolio, Russ whatever, said gold performs best when the real rates are negative and the opportunity cost and lost income is low, and the Fed has repeatedly emphasized this is exactly the environment we're going to go into sometime. Well, I'm glad their high-paid $1 million fund portfolio manager just figured that out, because we've been talking about that for years, and more recently, the last 7 months on these videos. So, oh my gosh. Anyway, let's find out who BlackRock is. I'm going to move on here. How does BlackRock make its money? This was interesting, because after I saw that BlackRock owns that ETF that has a very, very substantial guidance. They move markets. They move gold and silver markets. Look what happened yesterday with the gold market. People got hurt because of these people. They're paper games. People that own real metal. Mom and pops, Joe Janes, and Joe and Jane get hurt because of these kind of people, and that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. But when they play these paper games like they do, it hurts people, and I don't know why people like that don't go to jail. Again, this is just my opinion. Let's see how BlackRock makes money. BlackRock is, by some measure, the biggest investment manager company across the globe. $7.8 trillion in assets. Now, remember what I was telling you about monkey hammering, the big 800-pound gorilla in the room? These are the 800-pound gorillas, folks. These guys are the gorilla that monkey hammers all kinds of different markets and hurts people. And they mostly do it through paper tricks, and that's my opinion again. As a majorly publicly traded company with a market capitalization, let's not talk about that. The firm offers a variety of funds and portfolios, investing in vehicles such as equities, money market instrument, and fixed incomes. So, more or less, this company offers portfolios investing in vehicles that they created and that they actually manipulate, like the gold and silver markets. I think that, again, that's my opinion. Where do they make most of their money? Most of their money is made in investment advisory, administration fees, and security lending. just a strange environment here, and the fact that they can sell a huge amount of gold like that, and we don't see any gold on the market, and they can buy overnight 1.2 million ounces of silver overnight when the market is obviously dried up and bare and there is no silver, proves to you that that is a bullshit paper market. There is no metal behind this. They are screwing with gold and silver prices by using paper. And hey, that's my opinion. I'm going to stick with it. And that's the opinion of a lot of other folks out there that are way smarter than me as well. And they could probably explain it better than me too. So I explain it on simple terms. Let's look at this little article here written by Craig Hemp from Sprott Money News. A silver price, and thanks to Zero Hedge. I like Zero Hedge. You can read it for free yourself. There's no charge to read Zero Hedge articles unless you want to avoid the ads like I do and pay $1 a day for their premium service. And no, they don't pay me to say that, so I just happen to like their forum. Silver manipulation primer. It has been long 10 years, but it seems the investing world is finally beginning to realize that the globally recognized price of gold and silver are managed and manipulated by gold banks. Now here's Sprott, who's big in the silver business as well, has been saying this for years as well, that they get monkey hammered, the markets are monkey hammered by bullion banks. But it's not just bullion banks, it's the ETFs as well. I don't know if these guys realize that. But anyways, let's take a look. Gold and silver are managed and manipulated by the bullion banks, which operate as market makers within the fraudulent, fractional, and digital derivative pricing scheme. Well, more or less, it's just talking about the bullion banks, like COMEX, for example, not having the gold or silver to back up their contracts. And, it's pretty openly known. That's well known. Their claim is that they don't need to because they very seldom ever have to settle in the real product. But what's that done? It's done the same thing as the ETF's done. It's created artificial paper that has no metal behind it to back it up. What are we trading in? Are we trading in gold and silver? Or are we trading in paper or ones and zeros in today's age, which is digital? Am I getting ones and zeros, imaginary gold? Yeah, that's what I'm getting when I'm buying ETFs or COMEX contracts. I'm getting imaginary gold. Fortunately, with COMEX, you can force delivery, I believe. You can ask for delivery. And we'll get into that on another show sometime. Let's take a look at this. Again, I digressed a little bit. The price of COMEX broke out to new all-time highs last August, but has been since managed lower. And if you notice, last August, beginning of the year last year, man, gold rocketed up. We broke the all-time high. I think we went close to 2,200 or over 2,100. I forget what the high was. And then it kind of got monkey hammered again in August, and we knew it. We talked about it on our show. It wasn't news to us. It appears to be news to some of these people, but it wasn't news to us. We saw it happen, and we see when it happens early in the morning when the dollar gets strengthened and gold and silver markets get monkey hammered in the morning. This requires somebody that's involved with government or has really important data to be able to do this. And again, I believe it's the 800-pound gorillas out there that do it. That's just my opinion again. Boy, I'm going to say just my opinion a lot today, aren't I? At least I'm not saying anyways. So anyways, on the chart below, I'm not going to get into the charts here. There's a little, where did I see that? Let me take a look. I didn't mean to give you some silence there. Good article here. And aside, ask yourself why the fund manager Aberdeen would feel the need to voice a concern regarding an online campaign intended to harm large banks. Well, this short silver thing that's been going viral online, these guys are actually starting to get hurt by it. And I believe that BlackRock started to recognize it as well, and that's why they went in, they monkey hammered the price of gold and silver yesterday with their paper. That again, that's kind of what it's looking like, and it seems pretty blatant to me. Well, after talking about all this stuff, all this blatant manipulation and monkey hammering by these big gorillas, and they don't, trust me folks, they don't just do this with gold and silver. Gold and silver is such a small market, especially silver, such a small market, easy market for them to make money in. It's not a highly, the regulators don't look at the market very well. And besides, the regulators are pretty stupid anyway. Remember Bernie Madoff? If you ever say, well, government regulators can help, don't count on it, folks. But anyways, I did it. These 800-pound gorillas definitely manipulate the price of gold and silver, and they do it in other markets. They do it in currency markets. They do it in oil markets. They do it. And And I think people are getting wise to it. I mean, look at GameStop. Look what happened with GameStop. A bunch of young folks got wise to the fact that these guys monkey hammer markets. And monkey hammering is blatant manipulation by these 800-pound gorillas. So when a bunch of these young folks got together recognizing this blatant manipulation, they said, hey, let's go after GameStop. And you know what? And they took down a big monkey, that's for sure, and puts a big smile on my face, because I think we're going to see, or we're starting to see, that possibly happen with silver here. And again, that's why I think the big gorilla, 800-pound gorilla with trillions of dollars, just went and bought or created out of thin air. That's what they did, actually. They created 1.12 million more ounces out of thin air yesterday. That doesn't exist. That's exactly what they did. And they sold how many millions of ounces of gold that didn't exist too. The gall of these guys, really. I mean, folks, they pulled the wool over our heads a long time ago, and I think a lot of people are just now starting to wake up to manipulation on all these different markets. I've been talking about silver manipulation for 20 years, and I've been called I was called a tinfoil. Put on your tinfoil hat, Brian. And I was called that by some pretty smart people that I thought would know a little bit more about these markets to me. And at that point, I said, you know what? They're not even bothering to look. They got their eyes closed. Like kind of what people did with the election. They close their eyes. They don't want to know that it's fake, or they don't care, or whatever. Or it's cognitive dissonance on their part. So when finally JP and these companies started getting caught and getting fined for manipulating going in and front-running markets, and going in and hammering markets with fake orders that were buying and sold, spoofing. They actually got busted for spoofing. I was saying that for years. Ted Butler was saying that for years. So when I finally brought this up and I showed all these guys that called me a tinfoil hat wearer, this stuff, you know what one of them said to me? One of them actually said, well, okay, so it does happen, but you know what? It's only temporary, and they can't keep it. And he was right about that, though. They can only manipulate it so wrong. So I got to give my one friend credit, even though he denied for years that there was manipulation in this market, in gold and silver markets. He did finally kind of come down and say, well, okay, it does happen. However, he pointed out to me that they can only control things for so long, and that's exactly what you saw with GameStop. They can only control the manipulation for so long. If the pressure's kept on, they will lose. The big monkeys will lose at some point, or they'll go down hard, but maybe they'll take everyone down hard with them as well. So anyways, there's my fourth anyways. So after all this manipulation talk and all this talk of monkey hammering and seedy deals and paper gold and fake gold and how they sham the markets and how they screw people, average people, average Joe and Janes, you would think, well, why would I wouldn't want to be involved with that market? Well, folks, everything is rigged in life at some point. It seems like all the markets are. All these 800-pound gorillas do it, and it looks like even our elections are, unfortunately. But, of course, the game is rigged, and I've said this many, many times. You're probably getting sick of hearing this, but you should remember this yourself. The game is rigged, but don't let that stop you, because if you don't play, you can't win. If you don't win, where does that put you? At the bottom of the pile. And I think, again, all those Reddit young folks that took GameStop and took out an 800-pound gorilla, they realize that if they don't play, they can't win. And once you know how they manipulate this game, then you can win. And folks, we know how they manipulate it. They create fake paper, gold, and silver. Ones and zeros. It doesn't exist. There's nothing behind it. So that's how they do it, and we know it. So what are we going to do? We're going to put the word out there, buy as much physical metals as you can. Let's see if we can starve their asses and do the same thing that the Reddit people did to GameStop. And I think it's pretty possible. Maybe not so much with gold, but I think with silver, it's definitely possible. It's such a small marketplace. Well, let's talk about markets here. I'm going to do a quick, well, before I go into the markets here, I want to just look at APMEX prices for silver. And I want to point out one thing. BlackRock sells, what they sell? Here, let's go back and take a look at what that article says. BlackRock sells $470 million worth of gold. Well, I'm just curious. I'm going to use APMEX as an example. They're one of the big online sellers. I can beat their prices. That's why I don't mind showing them up here. But they are a good, big, legit company. And I'll say one more time, I can beat their prices. This is I'm shamelessly plugging my business here, sorry. However, let's take a look at what they're getting for Silver Eagles. I mean, $42 for small quantities, but say you're buying 1,500 plus, they're getting $40, folks. Spot price is what, 27 bucks right here? How much over is that? 27.3. Damn, $13 premium they're getting for Silver Eagles. That's just insane. And typically in the past, Silver Eagles have only or have always cost. I'm going to do an average. They cost me around spot minus $3 or something like that. $3. So gosh darn, these things are wow, $13 premium. And typically in the past, with the spot price at 27 bucks, my cost as a dealer would be around 30 bucks on these things. And I would mark them up about $1. You know, if you were buying less than 100 from me, I'd mark them up $1. So I'd get $4 over. So right now, if we were in average times, I'd be paying 31 bucks, or I'd be selling retail Silver Eagles at 31 bucks a piece. And take a look at what they're actually selling for, $40. So that's basically $9 over. And I think let's take a look at gold, because BlackRock did sell a ton of gold yesterday. So I'm thinking today, let's take a look. I think that the gold products, American Eagle, should be $100 cheaper now because of the amount of gold sold by BlackRock yesterday. There should be tons of gold out there, folks. Oh, no, looks like Gold Eagles, they're not even available by a lot of dates, and the few dates that are available are bringing, oh my gosh, look at the premium. Let's take a look at that premium, folks. There should be a lot of gold on the market, though, right? $17.77, wow, $18.79, $200 freaking premium, oh my God. I didn't even realize the premiums that were this high this morning. They haven't dropped at all, and look at the price of gold. So I'm telling you, folks, the price of gold that you're seeing right now, we're going to take a look. Let's take a look at this price of gold. This price is bullshit. It probably, realistically, is really over, I'm going to say, at least $100 higher. 1880, 1900. I'm betting the price of gold is closer to 1900 right now, and the real price of silver is over 30 bucks, without a doubt. These numbers that we're seeing on our phones and on our screens are bullshit paper numbers, monkey hammered and manipulated by people like this. So I'm not even going to discuss what prices are. I'm just going to say go out, buy as much physical product as you can at the cheapest premium that you possibly can. I don't recommend Silver Eagles. I think they're way overpriced. If you're going to go out there and buy silver right now, I think 90% is available sometimes. I've got it for sale for anywhere, you know, a cheaper, again, obviously cheaper than APMEX has it. I got it cheaper than JM Bullion has it. I got it cheaper than SD. I'm cheaper than all the big online sellers when it comes to selling gold and silver, but I only do face-to-face sales. We're a brick and mortar. We don't do any online or any phone sales. Sorry about that, folks that don't live around here, but right now I do have product available to me. I think APMEX and JM and those guys, if you buy large quantities of 1 ounce generic rounds, they're selling them for like $5.50 over spot. If I'm correct, I can still get you large quantities at $4.50 to $5. I can still beat them 50 cents to $1 an ounce on generic silver. I don't think they have any 90% silver, and when they do, they're getting ridiculous rates for the constitutional silver. I do have availability. It is cheaper than them. As far as Krugerrands and Eagles, last I checked, I had availability, not Krugerrands, none available right now. I do have availability on Maple Leafs and American Eagles. So those are available right now, and my prices, again, are better than the online sellers. My first recommendation, if you're going out and buying this product, which I highly recommend, go out. You know, I was telling people, don't worry about the premiums. Let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see if the premiums come down. But I don't think they're coming down, folks. I think we've clearly seen a big separation from the paper gold and silver prices to the real physical spot prices, you know, what the stuff really sells for. You can buy a piece of paper for $27 on silver. You can buy a paper gold for $1,777, as we just saw right here. But you cannot buy the real stuff for that price. And that tells me that the prices that we're seeing here are complete, utter bullshit. Well, don't mean to get you depressed about this, but again, I think this also provides a good buying opportunity for us too. So if you can find product out there, again, avoid Silver Eagles, stick with Constitutional Silver and 1 ounce rounds if you can. I know 100 ounce bars are out there available too. I'd avoid them if you can buy the 1 ounce bars, but if you can't find 1 ounce bars, do buy the 100s. Buy any 999 product that you can. Try to stick with the generic products. They are much cheaper. Same thing with gold. I think the cheapest product out there is Maple Leafs, and those are about, what are they now? They're probably around $130, $130, $140 over the gold price. And again, we have availability, and my prices are cheaper than the guys online. Well, wow, this is a long report. Sorry about that, folks. But anyways, there's my 6 anyways of the day. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in lovely Lauderdale by the Sea. Give me a call anytime at 954-493-8811 for live spot prices or the best deal of the day, or or any kind of questions that you may have that will help you buy a product or be smarter when you are buying a product. And again, if you live outside of town, I don't mind you can give me a call anytime at this phone number, but please, if it's during business hours, and I know you can't do business with me and you know you can, please try to keep it short during the business hours, because I am trying to take care of my local customers and stuff. But again, if you're not in my area and you got some serious questions to ask, I don't mind answering it. Give me a call anytime. Well, thanks for watching. If anything crazy happens today with metals prices, I'll come back and do another report. If not, I will talk to you tomorrow. And hey, thanks for watching, folks, and all these new subscribers and all these new views. I really appreciate it. I hope I'm giving you some substance and I'm teaching people out there, because my real goal is not to give you a fish, but it's to teach you how to fish. And that's really about it. Talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.